Good morning. This is my 30th lecture. In my previous lecture, I have discussed on the autocorrelation and spectral density of aperiodic signals. So there the spectral density was energy spectral density. And now the counterpart of periodic signal, counterpart of energy signals are the power signals basically. But the power signals means they contain uh, two types of power signals, two categories in the power signals. One is random signals, other one are deterministic periodic signals. So now I am talking about the deterministic periodic signals only, and these can be well tracked by mathematical expressions because the signal is deterministic. Your in deterministic sense, we can also describe the magnitudes. We can also describe the magnitude spectrum and power spectrum here because it is the periodic signal. For a periodic signal, energy is infinite, so we cannot really use that energy parameter because it's not useful. So what we do in periodic signal, we'll take a one period. One period it need not be really aligned with starting of the cycle to another cycle. It is only we can take mid of first cycle and mid of second cycle. So then total period must be one period. That is how we will take, and the characteristics are determined as t increasing the t to infinite. So that is how we study the autocorrelation function and spectral density of the periodic signals. So here first let us start with the similarity of periodic signals. What is similarity here? I mean, this is for continuation purpose, for review purpose. So let us take one periodic signal like this. Let us say this is a periodic signal, and let us take another periodic signal, something like this, something like this, something like this. So here I want to compare how similar these two, first one and second one. Okay. Now let us take something third one. Third one is, let us say third one is something like this, and let us say even period also can be different, no problem. And but all periods must be same. And this is third one, and fourth one I will say that let me write the fourth one as something like this, something like this, something like this. So what you can feel out of this is 1 and 4 are same, almost same. When I ask you, when you ask me, I say that 1 and 4 looks like they are similar. They are not same, but they look similar. Some features are similar. It could be your straight lines. They consist of straight lines somewhere. Whereas the 1 and 3, they are continuous curves, smooth curves. So these two signals appear similar. This is regarding the structure of the signal. And more important thing here is it a low pass nature or high pass nature? That is more important here. See, for example, if I take, I'm changing the color. So I can say that if I plot cycle like this, and if I plot like this, if I plot like this, let us not worry about the alignment of the time. And this is also similar. Let us call this as a 5. 5 is also similar, but thing is the frequency content is different because there are no sharp edges there. Okay, so there may be, I mean, one is structural similarity. Structural similarity indirectly reflects into the some similarities in the spectrum. But visually, whatever you see, you cannot directly make any conclusions based on that one. Only thing is, if at all signal contains a sharp edges like this, it has higher frequency content. That is that much you can say. Okay, but just by seeing this and this, you cannot say that both have the same frequency components. Okay, so here when I say similarity of the two periodic signals, it is electrical similarity. Basically, it is not what your eye observes by seeing the images of the plots. Okay, it is very clear. So here the shape of the signals probably matters, and the width of the signal, that is more important. The width of the signal, width of the non-zero signal, the support of the signal, and variations, the time variations, the amplitude variations given within a time, that those things will determine the frequency content here. Okay, so let us move to the correlation. So this similarity is nothing but correlation. Parametrically, you can quantize the similarity in terms of correlation. So what is correlation? Here I am saying autocorrelation. When I compare one signal with another signal, it is called cross correlation. Here I am talking about the correlation with the same waveform. Correlation within the waveform. That is, for example, if I take this, let us take this. Take the first sample. Let us say first sample is here. Let us take some 15th sample is here. 15th sample, first sample. How much similar they are? They are almost same amplitude. Okay. Let us take another signal, something like this, and you take the 15th sample here, or you can even take the negative one. Okay. Let us take large difference is there here. 15th sample, and first sample is almost 0, it is 0.1 something like that. 15th sample is almost let us say some 15 or 15 this 0.1, that is 15, and sometimes you will find even negative also like this. So at 15th, let us say it has a negative value. So this is a lot of variations are there in this. In this case, so this is can be called as low frequency signal. When there are more zero crossings, faster zero crossings are occurring at faster range, you can say that it contains relatively higher frequencies. Okay, so that is what you have, and that kind of information you will get through auto correlation. You are correlating within the waveform. That means one sample of the waveform with another sample of the same waveform. You are doing that. So mathematically, what it can be written. 1 minute, please. My cursor is, where is the cursor? Where is the cursor? I am not seeing the cursor. That is here. So here, if we take one signal x of t, let us call this as a complex signal. So you are multiplying. This is the definition of autocorrelation in case of energy signals. Okay, x star. So whenever you have the complex multiplication, one term you have to conjugate that one. And this is the time delay anyway as per the definition of the autocorrelation function. So additionally, what we have is difference between the autocorrelation of a periodic signal and a periodic signal lies with the parameter t. So the integration is between minus t to plus t, some duration, that is equal to 2t, and as t tends to infinite, that means as large as possible you have to take the t value. So here time parameter is involved here, and there also time is involved, but not in the calculation. You are taking the total waveform there. Why you are taking, in the case of energy signal, if you take energy signal, let us say some energy signal something like this, and it is limited in time. So there is no time concept here. There is no time period. Whatever time you are taking is a full period. So whether you take between 0 to t or minus infinite to plus infinite, it doesn't matter, because your range is, the signal is supported only during the finite interval. So that is the reason this t won't come into picture. But in case of periodic signals, because the period is infinite there, so you have to limit that to compute the power to one thing. So ultimately, what is this limiting? See, one is t as large as possible. Another thing is, what is this? This is nothing but energy. This is nothing but energy. Ex. Energy during this period and divided by time. Energy divided by time is nothing but power. So that's why you have the, that is how they are related. If you take the one value, one tau, if we take for example 1 tau, so let us say tau equal to 0 here, then what I am doing, I am multiplying x of t with x of t. So I am multiplying x of t with x of t. Okay, let us take it as real, x of t with x of t. So of course, whether it is real or complex, finally you will get the square of the signal here. And this is what you have, is the energy, and divided by time, this is time support of the signal. Support of the signal means that is the duration you have taken, whatever duration you have taken. So energy divided by time is nothing but power. So this is becomes power and tau equal to 0. This, which is similar to the, in case of autocorrelation of the energy signals. Okay. So now instead of calling minus t to t, I take it as a t naught. So what is the difference between this? See here, let us have a periodic signal, something like this. What is the cycles here? This is the cycle period here. Let us say this is t naught. I can take between 0 to t naught. This is 0. This is t naught. One cycle I can take the limits. And I can also take somewhere here and somewhere at the end of the cycle. Again, this period must be equal to t naught. So what it means is, when the t is written and the below of the integration symbol, it means arbitrary period. You can take anywhere. It need not be aligned with cycles. Okay. So that is the meaning of this one. Now it's the same definition here. Wherever you take, the duration is t naught. So whatever you have, this is nothing but, it has energy units divided by time is the power. So whenever we talk about the periodic signal, we talk about the power. We don't talk about the energy. That's why these periodic signals, or deterministic periodic signals, are called as power signals. But I am consistently using the periodic signal, not using the power signal, because when I say power signal, I have to include the random signals also. Okay, which I am not talking in this lecture. Okay. Now let us take the average power of the signal. What is this average? From the time domain, you have taken the waveform and you have squared this, integrated this over a period of time, and of course, as maximum as possible you take, then it is nothing but mean square value. So this is nothing but mean square value. What it means is, let us say some waveform like this, periodic waveform, I am not drawing it properly, and of course you take let us say it is something like this, some t period, this itself may be one period, let us assume like that, then square this. I use the red color for this. This is the signal given. After you square, you will get this. Negative also you will get here. This is the square. This is the square here. This is the square. And approximately I am drawing. So this could be the square. So this is negative part. After squaring, it has become the positive part here. So this is what square, this is square, positive, positive, negative, positive, positive, positive. Okay. So this is what you have. And this is the area. When I say integration, this is the total area after squaring. So this is the squaring of the signal. Squaring of the signal. Okay. Now, this kind of thing, when I take this is time average basically. Time average of the squared signal. So that I represent like x square. This is basically, I should say, mean square value. But mean square value, mean, variance, all those things are statistical terms which I use when I talk about the random signal. So I don't use the mean square value. Actually, it is mean square value. Instead of that, I use the time average of the squared signal. Okay. Then from Parseval's relation, because as I told you, it's a periodic signal, I have the Fourier series coefficients like this, and I have to square the Fourier series coefficients. Then each Fourier series coefficient is nothing but the power. In this case, power, I mean, Ck is the amplitude, and Ck square is the power. So power at each frequency, the at kth harmonic. So this is what you have, the power. And from Parseval's equation, this is C1 square. C1 amplitude C1 square means the power at the first harmonic. C2 square means power at the second harmonic, like that kth harmonic you will get. That means the power distributed over different frequencies, different harmonics. If you add the individual powers, I will get the total power. So here I am computing the power as a time average. Here I am computing from the sum of the powers at each frequency. Now let us talk about the spectral density. This spectral density of a periodic signal, I mean, you can same power here and here. What you are doing, you are taking the square of each harmonic frequency, because this is a Fourier transform, correct? So I don't call it as a I don't call it as a harmonic onward, now onwards, because it is not a Fourier series. It is a Fourier transform. There may be zero values between the harmonics, but it is a continuous curve which peaks only at the harmonic frequencies. Okay, so this is a Fourier transform, and take tau, a period of tau, and this tau basically is the, you can say, width of one cycle, energy divided by tau, and this should tend to infinite. And I mean, this is based on the, I mean, this spectrum is computed for this much period. That is the meaning of this one basically. Okay, so this is the total sum, and of course 1 by 2 pi is the definition for that. And I have this, we call this as if spectral density, power spectral density, we call this as PSD. It is a finite value because it is a power signal. Power spectral density. Some people call it as power density spectrum, but both have the same meaning. So what it means is, at each frequency, I am not saying this omega is continuous here because I am talking about the Fourier transform. There are no harmonics here. So take the power as omega. What is this power? It is square of the at that frequency, whatever amplitude is there, amplitude square, amplitude spectrum square, and this is called power density spectrum. Why you are calling density? Because when I talk about Fourier transform, we cannot define something at instant, because it's a density, it's a continuous spectrum basically. Okay, so that's why you call it as a density. And when I square the spectrum, let us say some spectrum is like this. let us say something spectrum. This is a spectrum that is nothing but x omega, and this is minus, this is plus. So when I square this, what I get? When I square this, I will get this kind of thing, and here also I will get negative, also will become positive. So this is nothing but S of omega, power spectral density, because omega is continuous. So, and this is minus infinite to plus infinite. When I take positive, this is all for positive frequencies. Let me change the ink color. So positive frequencies, and same spectral thing you will get here on the negative side also. So it is even symmetric. Basically, it is as even symmetric. So what I can do, I can instead of minus infinite to plus infinite, what is this minus infinite to plus infinite? Omega. This is the omega range. Minus infinite to plus infinite is the omega range. And instead of that, if I take omega between 0 and infinite, that means one-sided spectrum. This part. So this part is nothing but one-sided spectrum. This is corresponding to this. So automatically this part and this part both are same as S omega. So that is the reason I take 0 to omega S omega up to 2 pi, and I scale this by 2, so that power on right hand side and power on the left hand side, they are added to yield the total power. Now consider the example of autocorrelation function of this. It is a periodic signal with a fundamental frequency, or with a frequency. I need not say fundamental frequency here, because it is the only sine wave present. I can happily say that it is the frequency. Okay, if it is a square wave of fundamental frequency omega naught, then I have to call this as a fundamental frequency. Now it is a pure sine wave. I can directly call it as the frequency of the sine wave. This is the expression for autocorrelation. And this autocorrelation, basically what I have to do here, I have 1 by t, and of course minus t by t2 plus t by 2 I am taking here. So limited time, and substitute the signal here, x of t minus tau, and these are two sine wave, sine into sine, sine A, this is basically sine A, sine B, sine A into sine B. So means now this part, this sine B part, you can again convert into probably two sine wave functions here. So you just see this basically, and integration is with respect to dt. So what are the terms here? This is the constant term, sine omega tau is there, cos omega tau is there. These two are constant terms. Okay, you multiply this and take this constant outside. This constant is taken outside, and the remaining sine omega naught t, sine omega naught t, sine square omega naught t, it is nothing but 1 minus cos 2 pi omega square. 1 minus cos 2 omega naught by 2, and whatever this is cos, and this sine function comes here, and this is nothing but the remaining part is, let me put the laser pointer, remaining part here is sine into cos, sine A cos B, sine A sine B, correct? Sorry, sine A cos A, sine A cos A. So then I will get the sine 2A, this is sine 2A, sine 2A by 2. So when I do some manipulation here and integration, after integration, all these things I have to integrate. In fact, I have not integrated here. So what I have to write, I have to put the bracket here. For full thing, I have to put the bracket for integration. Okay, and after doing all these integrations, finally I will get half cos omega naught tau. So this is nothing but R tau, autocorrelation function for given tau. Okay, autocorrelation function for given tau. So how it looks? It is same. It has same period as that of the original sine wave, but it is a cos wave. Here I have taken sine wave. How it looks? Sine wave. Sine wave will start here. It is like this. It goes, but in our case, it is a cos wave. It is cos wave means if you take this as cycle, so this is what you have. Starts with 90 degrees phase like this. It is phase shifted by, but this is independent variable is tau here. Here independent variable is t. Whatever sine wave is there, it is nothing but x of t. Whatever cos wave I have shown as a function of tau, it is nothing but autocorrelation function. That means if I take a periodic function, its autocorrelation function is also periodic in this case. And there are any periodic signal, any combination of periodic signals if I take, they are also periodic. I mean, when the frequencies are properly related. Then let us see the properties of this autocorrelation function. I have autocorrelation function has conjugate symmetry, means this is the, if you take the limiting case, I mean if you take the theoretical definition of this and limit t tends to infinite, and everywhere probably whenever you want to do deal with this kind of periodic signals, you can put this, but generally sometimes we skip this, but it is assumed implicit that you are taking t as large as possible. And this is r star. So here x star, here r star means x star x, and I substitute tau equal to tau. Same thing I did in case of energy signals, so I'm not going into details. So finally I will get in this case r tau. So r tau equal to r star minus tau. So what is conjugate means? Conjugate means your magnitude won't change. Magnitude of the autocorrelation function, because in general if the two signals are complex, the autocorrelation function is also complex. Okay, so autocorrelation function is complex, then it has a magnitude like this which has even symmetry, and that is nothing but r tau equal to r minus tau. So when I take include the phase, when I take phase, it is anti-phase minus, because it is time reversal. Okay, it is time, yeah, of course it is not, it need not be antisymmetric. So there is a phase spectrum is antisymmetric if I take this, because conjugation means minus sign. So this becomes odd symmetric, amplitude becomes even symmetric. Okay, that is what you have. Then let us go to the second one. This is very simple. Substitute, when you substitute tau equal to 0 in the autocorrelation function, that is nothing but the power r naught. R naught is power. So take the equation here, definition, substitute tau equal to 0, you substitute, you have x t into x star t. So that is nothing but square of the magnitude of this one, and this is nothing but your power of the given periodic signal. So R0 is nothing but power of the periodic signal. In case of energy signals, R0 was the energy in the signal. Now another property, third property is maximum value of the autocorrelation function occurs at tau equal to 0. Okay, and this is always positive, correct? Because it is a square of the signal, because square of the signal always positive, and this R tau, it can change. See, it can also change magnitudes like this. This can also change like this. No restrictions like that. Okay. But R naught corresponds to the power. Power can never be negative. So that is the reason R naught is always positive. That is the reason here no modulus is used for this term. Okay? Modulus is used only for this term. So the autocorrelation function may oscillate also. In fact, in case of periodic signals, it was oscillating. Right? So in the previous example, whatever I have shown, it was oscillating. So here the maximum value occurs at tau, and as tau decreases, the autocorrelation, as tau increases, autocorrelation function decreases. The fall rate may be different, but ultimately it has to decrease. Next one. Autocorrelation function and power spectral density, they form the Fourier transform pair. Okay. So this is basically direct consequence of the squaring here, because it is x of t, second order, this is x of t into x of t. X of t into x of t plus t minus tau. So this is second order term, and similarly the spectrum also has the second order term here. Okay. This is second order, this is second order. So that is how you remember. Both second order term in the time domain is autocorrelation function. Second order term in the frequency domain is the power spectrum. Okay. Why it is second order spectrum? I have x of j omega, x of omega or j omega. Square I have for this square term. And here I have x of t into x of t. Okay. X square of t or x into x star. So anything is there is x of t into x of t. So it is a second order term basically. Now autocorrelation function of a periodic signal is also periodic with the same period as that of the signal. This best example we have seen. In the previous example I have already established this. R tau equal to R tau plus this is tau plus t, value at some tau, and you take another value at t tau plus t and tau plus 2t, tau plus 3t, like that. If we take those values are all same, that means it is period. The autocorrelation function is period. Now there is a problem given here. Autocorrelation function of a periodic signal. I mean, you can assume this as a, it is given like that, is given as the periodic. If you want to assume, you can assume, I mean, it is exponentially function, periodic function. And the autocorrelation, this is a basically, I cannot say from this it is exponential. It is e to the power of minus tau square. What it means is, it is looking like a Gaussian curve. This is nothing but your Gaussian shape. How it looks, because the mean value is 0, the Gaussian curve, it looks something like this. It won't go to negative, because anyway it is autocorrelation function, it has to be positive, but this mean value is, mean value means, I mean t, it is around t, it is not mean value, basically around t. It is symmetric, I should say that symmetric Gaussian pulse. This Gaussian pulse, let us say it is going like this. In fact, it is not possible, because Gaussian it has a long tails, so it cannot form a good periodic signal. But theoretical purpose, yes, you can to solve some problem, you can take no problem. So these tails are longer tails, but very small tails. So it is basically let us assume like that. Then you have to, because the periodic signal, you have to find the periodic, I mean power spectral density and a normalized average power of side effect. Okay, we know that autocorrelation function of periodic signal and the power spectral density, they form the Fourier transform pair. And the definition, the link between this is Fourier transform means this is the definition of Fourier transform. And substitute the Gaussian pulse here. and here sigma represents the spread of the Gaussian pulse. That means if, let us say, this side, let us say, if I take this Gaussian pulse, this is sigma, somewhere here, so this will be 3 sigma like this. This is, let us say, some sigma or 2 sigma I can say. And when I take another pulse, I will change the color, another Gaussian pulse with more spread like this. Then what happens? 3 sigma is here. Sigma means standard deviation basically in this case. So this is what you have. This is what, in fact, if it is a random things, we call it as a standard deviation. But here the right thing is sigma is nothing but RMS value. Root means square, because the deterministic quantity should say that RMS value. RMS value. Yes, correct. So you can say RMS value instead of standard deviation. Let me change the color again. Okay. Now, after integration, I get this. So when I differentiate a Gaussian pulse, I will get another Gaussian pulse. When I take a Gaussian pulse in time domain, I mean autocorrelation here, in the frequency domain also, I will get a Gaussian pulse. So this is a Gaussian spectrum basically. Whatever is shown is a Gaussian spectrum. The power density spectrum will look like a Gaussian function. Now I want power, that is R0. There is R0 here. This is R0, e to the power of minus tau. So e to the power of minus 0. Tau means 0 means e to the power of 0, it is equal to 1. So the autocorrelation function, how it is looking? It is looking Gaussian. It is not a, this is like a bell curve. It is like a convex. It is not concave as I have drawn several times. It is not concave like this. It is a convex. Our best thing is, you should say that it is a combination of concave and convex. It is nothing but bell curve basically. It is nothing but bell curve. Now when tau equal to 1, I have the power here. Don't say joules in this case, because it is not energy, it is the power, and I should say this as 1 watt power. Okay, R0 is nothing but power. So I am stopping my lecture here. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will be discussing the further topics on LTI systems from my next lecture onwards. Thank you so much again.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.